I'm gonna do this, I'll need my news team at my side.
News team, assemble!
Howdy, Aggie Land. Welcome to the SEC.
Our program will be built on 4 principles in which I talk about all the time: toughness, effort, discipline, and pride.
Dang it! I'm going to have to buy that boy cream cone.
Now I'm distracted on my point. What were we talking about?
It's bullcrap. All I care about is winning. Show me the dang baby.
You do it till they do it right, and then you do it till they can't do it wrong.
Go get him. Why are you dancing around? Eat him like he's a steak.
He fits what TexAgs radio is about. He fits into what the listeners are going to want. He's a pro on every level.
That's how long I've been on ya.
It's Nuño and the crew on TexAgs radio, right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
You know how long I've been on ya.
All right, welcome in. We call it TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. So I guess I'll start off the show. Are we going to get some freaking baseball today? Can we get some baseball? So they were supposed to play yesterday afternoon, then yesterday evening. Then I got an alert. Louis calls me, hey, be ready, because the game could, operative word, could start at 9:30. We'd go off the air at 9:15. We all knew that wasn't going to happen after looking at at my iPhone, little weather app that helps us out so much. And, of course, I get into the studio this morning, and Sam tells me, yep, they pushed it back. And it says, let's see if I can get you the tweet that came from Aggie Baseball. It says, today's game against Florida will not start at 9:30 a.m. due to inclement weather, and new start time has not been set yet. We will provide updates as they become available. So we've got that to look forward to. But there was some interesting news coming out of yesterday. One of the things that Bronny reported was that, they have actually looked at some alternative fields, maybe try to get a couple fields out there. It might become a one-game elimination, looking more and more likely that that's going to happen. So we've got that to talk about. Also, Bronny reports that Nathan Depner looking a little bit better. It looks like that blister is getting healed, so we'll talk about that. Plus some props to Bryce Foster. The A&M men's track team advanced 9 athletes to Friday's West preliminary quarterfinals, but it's Foster who advances in the shot put to the championships as he PR'd. So we'll get into that. And I do have a show question that we'll get into at around 8:20. Which kickoff times do you prefer? So yesterday, CBS came out with their schedule, and it looks like the October 8th day has a primetime slot. And then later on this morning, the early games, or we're going to get those kickoff times. So we'll find out what time A&M is playing against Sam Houston, what time they're playing against Miami, Appalachian State. So we've got all that. If you want to discuss it with us, call us up on the BCSI hotline, 979-693-1150, or text us on the AMB text line, 979-693-1150. AMB, a College Station branch of the Amarillo National Bank. Good Texas banking, the website amb.com. We begin the go hour with Olin Buchanan, OB. I would say that rain delays can be good if you're trying to get your pitching staff healthy and whatnot, but I also don't want it to help other pitching staffs. But here we are, Florida getting some more hours to get their guys back.
Well, I think the guy they would start is probably the freshman whose name I can't remember. Can't remember his name.
Freshman guy.
He was on the all-freshman team. I knew that. And so he would probably be ready anyway, right?
Right. But maybe relievers and whatnot.
Yeah. Relievers, absolutely. I got to tell you, I know when you go out there, you're trying to win, but I don't know if it would be in
their best interest.
In A&M's best interest to lose and get out of there.
Were you talking about Chris Cortez for A&M, or were you talking about Florida's pitcher?
Florida's pitcher.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
And I can't remember his name right now. But anyway, he's usually their second-day pitcher, and was, like I said, all SEC freshman team, but had a decent outing the last time. I was looking this up yesterday. Anyway.
Brandon Nicky.
Sounds right.
Okay.
So would A&M be better served to just lose or would that jeopardize the possibility of being a top 8 seed?
It could jeopardize. I guess it depends who you ask. Richard Zane did this database or this spreadsheet, document that has their RPI at 20, which in years past will not get you a national seed, but winning the SEC West typically gets you a national seed. So what does that mean? I think to be safe,
they probably need to win
or two,
because as we know that every one-loss SEC football team got into the college football playoff except one.
Right. And again, we've had so many problems with committees.
Yeah.
Don't and I was going through it over the last couple of years, not just football, not just basketball, but women's tennis. Remember getting the 7 seed, although they were ranked number 1 in the polls going into the tournament.
Yeah, sure. Everybody's made those committees look kind of foolish.
Yeah, they sure have.
Maybe those committees need to, what they say, put your right hand on your left ear, your left hand on your right ear, and pull your head out.
Pull your head out of
where it might be.
So I think some of the good news that came out of it is there's a possibility we see Nathan Detmer in Hoover, which I was completely against. But Bronny reported yesterday that it looks like his blister is almost healed, and they want to keep him on a regular rotation, a regular rest rate. So there's a possibility that we see Nathan Detmer.
That must have been one
heck of
hellacious blister.
Yeah. I think it's where it was, and, if I remember correctly, it was on his toe that he lands on when he pitches. I have to go double check, but it was somewhere that it definitely affected what he was doing.
But I don't doubt that, because he'd been such a ace.
Yeah.
And then he had 2 struggles back to back. But, what's the remedy? What's the treatment for a blister?
Rest, bandage, better shoes.
Put it in some salt water or something.
But I don't know. I feel like that would keep it soft.
Do you get the pen, the needle, and stick it and bust it and all those things?
If they do, I don't want to see. I don't want to watch.
You've never had a blister and took a pen and a needle and stuck it?
No, I just let it pop on its own. Yeah.
You never popped it on purpose?
No. No. I mean, maybe as a kid, but definitely not as an adult.
I hope we have some listeners that could tell us
the remedy. We've got a lot of doctors
or the treatment for a blister.
Yeah, we've got a lot of doctors that listen to the show. By the way, hey,
DeStefano, how do you treat a blister?
Text messages coming in.
Do you know James DeStefano?
No.
Oh, you will.
I will get to know him.
Heck of a good guy.
Yeah? Good people. So I introduced you to a guy that's in I guess somewhat related to A&M this upcoming season. A&M is playing Miami, and we were at a game. I forget which game it was. It might have been Auburn, and Alonzo Highsmith was there. And,
yes.
And I introduced you to him, a guy that I've known for maybe 20 years. He's good friends with John Granado, who I worked with in Houston. He is now going back to the University of Miami to be their general manager. He's leaving the Seahawks. So he's been a big-time NFL assistant GM and highly, I think with the Packers, he was in charge of their scouting department.
So college programs now have general managers.
Yeah, well, it's happening. Yeah, and that's not the first guy to have it. There's a couple different gigs that have actual general managers, if you will, to manage really the transfer portal. I mean, that's a lot to think about. Who's going in, who's going out, what guys are available. Scouting from that is a little bit different than scouting just your high school guys.
Well, I'm sure he'll be good at that role.
He's done it for a while at the NFL level. Yeah. He obviously played at the U.
Yes, I remember. I watched him play.
Yeah. Well,
when they beat Nebraska that night.
That's right. Played for the Oilers for a little bit as well.
First round pick, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Yeah. His son also played in the NFL. I believe AJ played for the San Francisco 49ers, so very talented family. He's taken over there at the University of Miami. But that game, we'll talk about this here in a little bit, but that game, would you expect it to be an early kickoff? Because we'll find out here in the next hour or so.
Early, like at 11 a.m.?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't expect that.
You think that's going to be an evening one?
Might be an 11:30 game. I mean, a 2:30 game.
2:30 game?
Might be.
I have to look at
I would have to see whatever. But, Miami's supposed to be good. A&M's supposed to be good. How many good inter-conference games are there? Inter-conference games are there that day?
Yeah.
It seems like a good 2:30 game.
Yeah, I think so.
But it's going to be hot as Hades.
Yeah, it's
hot as Hades.
Hot as Hades. Yes, it is here in California. And even if that game were playing in Miami, hot as Hades as well next year when we have to go.
Quite hot.
Very hot.
Hot as freaking Hades.
Hot as Hades. Let's go to the News and Social Center, find out what's happening in the world of news. Good morning to you, Kay Nagley. I don't know why I gave your last name there. It kind of sounded awkward. Kay Nagley at the News and Social Center.
Good morning, guys. Hey, you're pronouncing it right, so that's all that matters to me.
Good to see you. What's going on in your world?
So, women's tennis, JC Goldsmith and Tatiana Makarova just keep rolling. They are headed to the Elite Eight for the second straight year. They have Oklahoma State up next, and that first serve is to be announced. Baseball, as y'all know, is set to take on Florida sometime today, eventually. That will be weather allowing once the weather clears up on SEC Network, and that is in Hoover. Then track and field, as you mentioned, Bryce Foster punches his ticket to the NCAA tournament or championship in shot put, and then 9 other Aggies advance to the quarterfinals, and those West preliminary rounds will continue today at around 2 p.m.
Thank you, Kay. You mentioned Bryce Foster there. I expect him to have, I'm not going to call it a breakthrough season because he had a really nice season last year, right? But I do expect him to be even better. Like, I think he's going to take a huge step.
So do I. It's hard to play as a true freshman in the offensive line in the SEC, for goodness sakes. Kenyon Green struggled at times.
Yeah.
And then the next year he was All-American. I don't know that Bryce will be All-American, but I wouldn't doubt it for him or Ruben Fothery. By the way, you know what is kind of a pet peeve of mine?
What is that?
When people say, when they're talking about track and field, and they say, so-and-so, like Bryce Foster, threw the shot 70 feet. You don't throw the shot. You know what you do? You put the shot. It's the shot put. That big round steel thing is the shot. And you put it out there. See, and they say, oh, yeah, he's throwing the shot put.
He's putting
the shot.
The shot. I think I would mess up your pet peeve. I think not thinking, I would probably say he threw.
He threw the shot put.
It shows how much
track and field you've covered.
Well, I've covered the running part. No, I've probably written it incorrectly because I covered Bryce in high school doing that.
Almost everybody does.
Yeah, it is a mistake. You know, there's another pet peeve of mine.
What? People that interrupt you all the time?
No, that I don't mind. People who like to brag in awkward situations.
No, like who? Pray tell.
I don't know. I mean, like I've been told that there's this situation going on at TexAgs in June, which we're calling the TexAgs Combine. And apparently there's people walking around thinking they're going to win it. I'm going to go to Kay Nagley at the News and Social Center. Kay, are you thinking you're going to win it?
I mean, I feel like if I was in a girls' competition solely, I could do pretty well.
There's no winner, though.
No, and I'm not coming out here and saying, like, oh, hey, I'm going to win the whole thing. I'm going to win this, 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 and this. I'm just saying, I think I would do fairly well, just like the rest of us. I feel like we'd all.
Do we know anybody predicting victory?
I was, at the gym yesterday, just as one.
You went to the gym yesterday?
I did, just trying to stay in shape. And Tomas was there.
Tomas, who works on this show.
Tomas Romo.
He does. He was coming up to me talking a big game about how he's going to win this. And I was like, hey, we'll see. But
so was he making a direct like threat to certain people on the staff?
I wouldn't say it was necessarily like shots taken, but it was just like,
I'm going to beat so-and-so at this, though, maybe? Potentially any of that?
I don't think there was any name calling.
Okay.
Just specific, like,
just
I could take them.
I could take
maybe just as a whole.
So the whole community. So if we invite Dante Hall here, he's going to take them. Or is he really talking about the staff?
Yeah, he's probably talking about the staff.
He's talking about Billy Lucci.
Yeah.
He's definitely talking David Nuño.
Okay, yeah.
Love that guy. Olin Buchanan.
Who wouldn't beat me? Kay would beat me.
Young Tomas. I know Richard's in the back thinking, enough with Tomas. But the cockiness is getting out of hand.
Yeah, we're going to have to start calling him Talks. Talks Tomas.
Talks Tomas Romo.
Good nickname.
Even though, my prediction on or my theory on this was not that Tomas was trying to look cocky among us, was that Tomas was looking for an excuse to come and holler at K.
No, I think he carries. I think he really feels competitive with me. That's what I think.
I think there's a lot of guys out there here that women think a man with confidence is sexy, and he's coming over and saying, "Hey, look how confident I am."
So here. I'm just gonna make this comment.
Is Tomas sexy?
Okay, no, we're not going there.
With all that confidence.
Yeah, not on this show. This is not The View. But I will say this. The TexAgs Combine.
She said, oh, God.
I know, right? Are we talking about Saban here? The TexAgs Combine is about you versus yourself. It's just about us getting together. There's no winner. We're a bunch of old dudes.
There should be a winner. It should be a competition.
I mean, I hope a 22-year-old can beat most 40-year-olds in a 40-yard dash. I hope.
I still, as slow as I am, I like my chances in a 40-yard dash against Dalton.
I like your chances, too. I do. We're going to get a text message here any minute now. One from Billy, like, what are you guys talking about? And one from Tomas, like, dude, I was just playing, man. Like, For 140 years, the Association of Former Students has been around helping Aggies all around the world. We had them in studio yesterday. I had a great talk with Scott. It was good, and Lexi was here as well. And that's what they do. And they reminded me, and I know this, but it was a good reminder that they not only help current students, and they've got the happy hours coming up and hanging out, the howdies, but they also they help out former students, existing students, you name it. You come to campus, they're going to take very good care of you because they love to give. That is their mission, is to give to people with scholarships, midnight yell security, class reunions, ring day, silver taps. I go through the list, and that's what they do. They love to give out there, and the reason they do it is for people just like you. So they have now created this website, IamTheWhy.com, where a collection of these stories are put on there. And you can find out how people have persevered and gone through some tough times through their life, some great times here at Texas A&M. All their entire journey there documented, and at some point you'll be able to upload your story onto IamTheWhy.com. It is the Association of Former Students. Please check out IamTheWhy.com.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. The Bush Library invites you to a summer film series featuring Shark Tale this Friday by the pond. Games and food start at 7. The movie begins at sunset. The Brazos Valley Museum of Natural History announces its exciting new in-house created exhibit, Fire and Earth, the Story of Ceramics, on display through May 28th. Visit brazosvalleymuseum.org for more information. Student Bonfire is looking for land to clear to build Bonfire this fall. The minimum acreage is 12 acres of heavily wooded land. The nonprofit organization also performs odd labor jobs to raise funds. Email info@studentbonfire.com for more information. Come out to Cheers to Craft Beer in downtown Bryan on Saturday, June 11th from 3 to 6 p.m. Proceeds from this tasting event benefit Voices for Children CASA. That's your community calendar. You can submit your nonprofit or charitable event by email to news@WTAW.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Get ready. It's almost time to cast your vote for the best of the Brazos Valley. Voting will open June 1st as you decide the best in dining, entertainment, automotive, health and wellness, services, retail, and everything in between. Thanks in part to our sponsors, Kalachi Rolfs, Brazos Valley Floor and Design, Hillier Funeral Home, and Suzanne School of Dance. Voting begins Wednesday, June 1st at bestofthebrazos.com.
Our publications reach every corner of the Brazos Valley, and we want to partner with you in sharing your message with the community. You may recognize a few of our Bryan Broadcasting publications.
Best of the Brazos Valley.
Brazos Life, the annual manual.
Welcome home, Brazos Valley.
Brazos Family. Brazos Wellness.
Brazos Valley Bride.
Peace, Brazos Christian Life.
With the combined power of 7 magazine titles, 11 radio stations, and digital solutions, Bryan Broadcasting Publications can help you be heard. Call 979-695-9595 to learn more.
Yes, we like to talk a lot of A&M on the Louis Bellina Show, weekdays 11 to 2 here on The Zone.
I'm going to throw Buzz Williams after that first NIT game, giving his address to the NCAA basketball committee, using nothing but hard, cold facts to show them why you hosed his team and he's not going to take it anymore. Standing up for his team, standing up for his program. And then you had Jimbo Fisher yesterday, who had enough. Because it's one thing when some guy named Shortbread, Iced Bread, Muffin, whatever, some anonymous internet Joe just starts spouting garbage. Woo-hoo. And Jimbo even said that when he had to address that. But now you've got college football god, college football czar, throwing out accusations too.
It's the Louis Bellina Show, presented by King Ranch Saddle Shop, weekdays on the Zone.
All right, it's TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's return to the News and Social Center and not make it awkward. A couple of text messages have come in. One from JB, actually a couple from JB.
Yes, talking about Nathan Detmer's blister on his foot. He says MLBer, I may pronounce this wrong, Moises Alou would pee on his hands to strengthen the skin and prevent blisters. Maybe he should do that.
This is a true story. Moises did talk about it. And another part of the I think this must be a Latin thing, because I remember when I was a kid playing baseball, and I was terrible. Until Mouse would beat me at that too. My dad would tell me that that's what people you would do in Cuba when you'd get blisters, would pee on their hand. Now, I don't know why.
Well, I don't see how peeing on your hand would help your foot blister.
By the way, it's his push-off foot, as JB says.
And is it on the bottom of the foot?
Yes.
So can you imagine just the logistics of trying to pee on the bottom of your foot?
I'm going to move on to the next text. This one from JW. No winner? What is this? T-ball, Nuño?
Ah, there you go.
Here's my thing. It's a combine. It's a competition. It's not a track meet, right? There's not like they're going to get first, second, and third. I don't think they are.
Nuño, you may be the only person at TexAgs who's actually in shape, so you should be pushing for this to be a...
But there is somewhat young... I'm going to be just like Nick Saban for a minute. There's a Jimbo Fisher coming up for me, and I'm a little nervous about it, and I'm going to do everything in my power.
Do you know who this person is?
No.
Probably the new guy, Joe Dalton.
We have a new guy who's very tall, he looks
like he's in shape, yeah.
Yeah. Logan, but again, he would be in a different...
Logan, yeah.
That's not fair. He's an athlete.
Sort of.
Was.
If they had like an eating contest, I could probably, fare well in that.
4th of July. Why don't we do our own Nathans?
No, I don't want to do that.
I would win a chicken wing contest. I'm not winning a hot dog. I don't eat hot dogs. I'm out on hot dogs.
I like chicken wings.
Do you?
Where's the best chicken wings to get in College Station? Well, now don't answer that, because we might have a
competing sponsor.
That may or may not win. I don't know.
Yep.
But I know where I have my favorites, but I won't mention it.
Cody sends in, he might injure himself for trying to contort his body in that position for his foot. This is true. In fact, I would recommend not doing that at all.
And would you take one for the team? Like, would you stick your foot up there and just let, a teammate just... No, I don't think you would do that.
No.
You got to draw that line. In some ways, you'd just rather have the blister.
You would absolutely just rather have the blister. Did you see that Lane Kiffin suggested and by the way, most things Lane Kiffin says, I
think somebody should just pee on Lane Kiffin, but go on.
Well, maybe they have. So he is suggesting that the NCAA use an NFL model to deal with NIL issues and like some kind of salary cap and structure and like incoming freshmen.
Okay.
How does that...
See, here's where that doesn't work. Here's where this doesn't work. In the NFL, the players are paid by the team. So therefore, the team can set rules. In NIL, the players are paid outside of the team. You don't tell the players in the NFL what they can make in their endorsements, do you?
Nope.
So the endorsements have nothing to do with the salary cap.
But the problem is it's coming from these collective/boosters. So how is there a way to police it? That it can be Nike, it could be a mom and pop place, but it can't be a collective.
Well, yeah, but see, then you're saying, well, what if Nike's not a collective for Oregon? What is?
Exactly.
Right. So I just don't know what you can do with that, because the schools, if they're doing it right, aren't paying them. They are aware that they're getting some money outside, and of course, most businesses are going to be somehow aligned with the program in the city or state in which they're located.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Oklahoma Big Red Imports is in Norman or Oklahoma City. Of course they're going to be making deals with Oklahoma.
Right.
So I don't see how that works. Are you going to tell me that you can't go out and again, the sleep whatever station wants this Jalen Weidemeyer, and I want to give him $10,000. No, he can't get $10,000. Why? Why can't I? You're not paying it.
Right. There's no way to police that.
So how do you have a salary cap on money made outside of the program?
I think the only thing and I don't even think this is legal, but the only thing that I have thought of is you have a list, you have to apply to be an NIL company with NCAA, and players who can accept money, but to play in this conference or in this league, you have to do one of these.
I think the Supreme Court's already shut that down.
Yeah.
I just don't see how. I mean, that works for the coaches, but I think it's only going to take one player to say no. It's if I got the $1 million deal, and you're coming to me and saying no, you can't do that. I'm going to say why the hell not?
Right. Yep. The other thing is the one thing that I think they could do tomorrow that would, at least from a transfer perspective, stop some of this NIL hustling and bustling we're seeing, is go back to the 1 year waiting period.
Once again, the 1 year waiting period. What did you come to TexAgs and they say, hey, you're gonna work, but we're gonna pay you in a year?
No, there was pay, no. But I'm saying, like, you can get NIL right away.
Oh,
you just can't play for a year. Going back to the old rule.
Oh, the freshmen can't play?
No. The old rule of when you would transfer from school to school, you'd have to sit out a year.
Okay. Oh, you mean the transfer?
Yeah. So waiting. Okay, you can transfer to Oklahoma State, but and you can make money right away, but you're not going to play football for a year. That would stop people saying you can start right away and we'll pay you $100,000.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if that can be if that would be challenged in court. And now, what I would do if I was a NIL collective and I was going to pay a player, I'd say, all right, we're going to pay it out. We're going to pay you $12,000 at $1,000 a year, or maybe it's through the semester. So,
right.
But you got to play. So here's a contract that if you sit out the bowl game, you owe us. You got to pay back half of it.
Yep. I like that. I like a contract kind of, and it would take the collective who, if they're really doing it for the school, which they are, if these collectives are, then be like, all right, this is how you get paid. You got to finish the season here. You got to get all of it. This is an NIL deal based on time served, not necessarily statistic based, although you could probably write that into it as well.
It's funny because we always, and everybody keeps coming up with these ideas that are better for, quote, college football and the coaches, but they still infringe upon the free trade and marketing of the individual player, which the Supreme Court says, hey, you can go
go make it. All right, we'll continue this with Stephen McGee when we come back. Right now we're talking Heritage Films, Chance McClain's company, a guy that I've known for a long, long time, a guy that I can vouch for. Been to his house, gone to out of town with the guy. He's the best. He's a wonderful guy, but he's also very creative. And he teamed up with Michael Berry a few years back to do his dad's documentary. If you don't know Michael, he's a famous talk show host in Houston. Does a conservative talk show out there. And Chance and he became good friends. He did a documentary about his dad, and it kind of started this thing for him. He started doing Heritage Films because of it, because he was so inspired from the stories that came out of that, and now he's doing it for Aggies all over the place. So he's taking his business here to TexAgs. Check out the website, yourheritagefilm.com, and you're going to see this style that he does. He does these movies. They're documentary form. They're about a 2-hour movie that he's going to do about your family, your boss, your uncle, people that are very important to you to leave for your family. The website, again, is yourheritagefilm.com, yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341.
Well, he survived football season and didn't enter the transfer portal. It's David Nuño on TexAgs Radio, weekdays on The Zone.
Here's Brad Beard of Intercon.
If you have considered replacing the windows in your brick veneer home, you may have been told that it would be necessary to either remove the brick or tear up the inside of your window box. You need to know that Intercon replaces windows and brick every day, and we don't tear up anything except the window which is being removed. By installing windows every day, Intercon personnel have worked out methods which result in the replacement windows being at least as neat and effectively installed as your windows were when they were new. This means that Intercon can furnish and install replacement windows which exceed today's tighter standards for efficiency, and they look and perform just as well as the best windows in brand new homes. Call Intercon or visit our showroom, and we will furnish you customer references for homes you can look at, and homeowners you probably know who can tell you that Intercon can solve your window problems without wrecking your home or your budget, just as we did theirs. Intercon will furnish a free quote, and we won't pressure you to buy.
Whether you have new construction or an existing home, let the fine folks from Intercon help your home energy efficiency year-round. Call Brad Beard of Intercon today at 823-3639. That's 823-3639.
Hey Aggie Land, Big Shots Golf Local and Live Concert Series continues every Thursday this May in the Yard, and you're invited. Come hear local artists Morgan Ashley this Thursday from 7 to 9 at Big Shots Golf for free. So bring your friends and family for drinks, grub, and live music at Local and Live this Thursday at Big Shots Golf. See you there. Find more at facebook.com/Big Shots Golf Aggie Land.
Our publications reach every corner of the Brazos Valley, and we want to partner with you in sharing your message with the community. You may recognize a few of our Bryan Broadcasting publications.
Best of the Brazos Valley.
Brazos Life, the annual manual.
Welcome home, Brazos Valley.
Brazos Family. Brazos Wellness.
Brazos Valley Bride.
Peace, Brazos Christian Life.
With the combined power of 7 magazine titles, 11 radio stations, and digital solutions, Bryan Broadcasting Publications can help you be heard. Call 979-695-9595 to learn more.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors, Schulte Roofing, Prosperity Bank, Hargrove Insurance, and Rudy's Barbecue. Here's a big gig 'em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
Register now to win the Texas Summer Survival Kit presented by Field to Family. Register now at zone1150.com. Field to Family, straight from their fields to your family. Check them out online. Shopfieldtofamily.com. Shopfieldtofamily.com. Register each week, once per day, and you can win the Texas Summer Survival Kit presented by Field to Family. Again, check them out online. Shopfieldtofamily.com.
All right, we are back. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's go straight to the BCSI hotline. We're joined by Stephen McGee, Paragon Financial's greatest, and our QB1. Welcome to the show, Stephen. How you doing this morning? Your mute's on, I think. Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning.
Hey, bud. How are you?
Good. I think they were muting me back in the fishbowl, playing games with us.
Of course they are. Of course they are. What's going on in your world, man? What do you got planned this weekend?
You know, we're actually I was telling Zane, and we're headed up to the Colonial on Saturday, the golf tournament. A couple buddies have not been to a golf tournament. I don't know if you've ever been to one, but I love my hobby now is playing golf if I can, and I'm horrible at it. So I really appreciate the consistency and the greatness of how good these guys can hit a golf ball. And so I'm looking forward to going up to Fort Worth and watching them play on Saturday. So that'll be a lot of fun.
One of my favorite things to do when I worked at ABC in Houston was go to the Houston Open, because Phil Mickelson would come typically, and Rory would come to see those guys up close. And some of them are jacked. Like Rory McIlroy's jacked. For a skinny golf guy, like he's pretty darn good shape, man.
Yeah. Is OB with you this morning?
I'm here.
Oh, there he is. Okay. Camera's locked in on Dave this morning. Ah, there he is, my man. Look at talking about Jack, Dave.
There he is.
Both you guys.
Hey, I don't know if you heard
the pipe show at TexAgs.
We're doing a TexAgs combine. Would you like to participate?
Yes. If OB will run a 40, I will.
I have predicted that I could outrun Dalton, and I have predicted that I could outrun Lexi from the former
Association.
Yeah, but she's running for 2.
Right.
So she should run twice as fast as me, right?
No, I think she should.
Hey, speaking of people running for 2, how's the wife doing, Stephen McGee?
She's doing good. She's a couple months out now, so it's game time. It's going to get real about August. World's gonna look a little bit different than it did, or it has for the last 36 plus years. But we're excited.
Greatest gift in the world, man. Hey, so a little bit later on today, kickoff times are supposed to be announced for the early games this season, the first month roughly. So I'm just curious, from your playing days, what did you prefer, an early one? And as a fan also, like when you watch a game, do you prefer the early ones, the afternoon ones, the late ones?
Yeah, I think as a player and as a fan, I enjoy the like 1:30, 2 o'clock games. I guess 2:30 college. I always think of it as like 1 o'clock Eastern. So it's the noon kickoff in the NFL, but it's not too early. The 11 a.m. I felt like it was almost too early for an athlete because you're up pretty early at that point, and everything's kind of operating around breakfast time. And I was never really a morning person as much, and so that afternoon kickoff was perfect because then it's not a super late night either. The worst is when you're on the road and you have a 7:30 kickoff and you're back home at 3 a.m., especially whenever you were coming home after a loss like we did many times. And so it makes for an even longer night.
Stephen, tell me if I'm just full of bull crap, which we'll get to later. But I always thought that the 11 o'clock kickoff, 11 a.m. kickoff was maybe not preferable, but just better if you're a visiting team, and the late kickoff was better if you were a home team. Because I thought if you're traveling, you just want let's just get the game, let's go and get it over with.
Yeah, I mean, you're not sitting around the hotel all day either, right? That's a big benefit. It's pro con, depends on where you're playing as well. I think how far of a bus ride do you have to get to the stadium? Some of these places you go to, you'd have to commute an hour or hour and a half. So you're staying, was it Manhattan, Kansas State? Like you'd have to stay way down the road and then drive in, and then you have to fly out. I mean, there's random airports that you would have to, fly in out of. It's just a mess, right? So I agree with you, OB. I think it's there's something to it.
So I think we had you on the show before Jimbo's comments on Thursday of last week. So it's been a week. I'd love to hear what you're thinking about how the whole thing went down last week and up until, I guess, the last time Jimbo spoke about it was Friday night.
I love that he stood up to him and spoke his beef he had about it and protected his own guys, protected his team. And look, I said this last week, and I'll say it again. To act like Nick Saban has not cheated to get to the point where he is a lie. Nick Saban inherited that Alabama program, what was it, 2010 roughly, and they were just a middle of the run college football program with no real allure compared to some of the likes of like a USC or a Florida. And here they are able to bring in some of the best players in the country. And certainly Nick Saban is a good football coach. I'm not going to take that away from him, but he was not a good football coach in the NFL, right? And so I know that's a different mentality, and some coaches are not built for the NFL. That's certainly Nick Saban, because he's a jerk, right? I mean, he's a jerk to his assistants. He's a jerk to his players. He's a terrible guy to be around, but he wins football games, right? And so that's why it works for Nick Saban. And the reason I feel confident saying this is because Jason Garrett was under Nick Saban at Miami. And so I've heard all the stories. I know the reality of what it's like to coach and to play for him. And so, look, there's no need to beat a dead horse here, but to act like Nick Saban is guiltless here, and that he's not out there paying players, and that Alabama's not cheating, that fan base, they're absurd. He's mad because they don't have as deep as pockets as A&M does, especially when oil's at $110 a barrel. We're pumping cash in this place, and so we're willing to do whatever it takes to win a football game. And I love that about A&M. We're doing it within the rules, and so right now being able to pay players is not illegal.
Is there anybody you're funding through NIL, Stephen?
My funding?
Yeah, who are you funding through NIL? Who
I'm
would you
sponsoring
fund?
Olin Buchanan.
I wish.
In the combine.
I'll take $5. I'll take whatever
Yeah.
I can get.
Yeah, well, I'll put some wagers out there with any of the TexAgs listeners. Over under that you break a. What's the over under, Dave, on his 40 time?
I'm gonna go 8
seconds.
I'm going 8.
8 seconds.
7.5. Yeah, I'm going 7.5.
Oh man,
I don't even know
gotta
what
bring
I
it
would
down a
take
little.
if I'd take the over or the under.
8 seconds. That's almost walking.
Pretty much.
The speed of smell. Ob, I got more faith in you, brother.
Could
I'll take
somebody?
that
Could I
bet.
run 40 yards before a cowboy gets thrown off a bull? 8 seconds. Can the cowboy stay on the bull longer than?
Now that you pointed that, I think you'll beat the Cowboy. Yeah, I think.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna go 7-2.
Hey, I'll take the under, Dave.
Okay.
Let's do a friendly
Look at
cup
all this
of coffee.
respect I'm getting at 60 years old.
I'm not sure I would break a 5.5, 5.6 to be honest with you. So that's what I'm adding a second. I guess I'm adding 2 seconds.
Could I beat Rich Eisen?
That was a few years ago.
Well, he does have a few years of training on him, though. So there's that added element.
You remember me in Planet Fitness, dude, on the elliptical.
David, have you ever seen OB getting after it?
I have.
At the gym.
No, he hasn't.
I've seen you.
No, because I'm not like I was when.
Oh, but I've seen the current you.
Yeah, that's
Man, he would get after that elliptical. The elliptical got to work out that day. You know, OB is not messing around when he goes to the gym.
He was showing me his curls form earlier. He's got good form. I'll give him that. He keeps his elbows tight. He does it right.
Keep my back straight.
Yeah.
Kay's over there thinking Olin's been getting like Tomas Romo over here. Talks Tomas Romo.
Absolutely not.
Hey, Stephen, I don't know if you saw the article, but there's a report out that Greg Sankey and the SEC are considering some kind of like SEC playoff. You know, they're looking at exploring a lot of different options. Is this a real thing, or is it more of Sankey just being like, all right, guys, I told you I can do what I want, and I'm going to do what I want?
Man, the SEC is the power conference. So if he says he wants to do something, ultimately he carries a big stick. You know, it seems a little bit. The downside of it is that you have so many teams that are potentially competing for a spot into the college football playoff. And so if you have this system, ultimately do you eliminate the ability of two, or almost, you know, on a rare occasion, maybe even the potential for a third team to sneak in there out of the four, if they're all beating each other up in a playoff at the end of the year. I think it's harder when you have losses at the end of the year to get back in. I don't know. It's just my thought. I don't see the real benefit. I think the benefit is to have a college football playoff for everybody to play for the championship. But I don't know. Maybe so.
I think he's just, if this were even a thing, just saying we can take it over ourselves and be just fine. And it's more of a shot at the other conferences.
Yeah, I think, like, again, what we talked earlier this week, I think he's just trolling them.
Yeah.
Just enough to make you get uncomfortable.
Just enough. Let's do this. Let's hit a break. We'll come back with That's Bullcrap. Stephen McGee is on the BCSI hotline. We'll get to him here again in a moment. But right now, I want caller number one. We're going to give you a free car wash from Aggieland Express Car Wash in South College Station off of William D. Fitch and Greens Prairie. Aggie owned and operated with the friendliest staff and a personal touch. They offer a monthly membership. We'll give the first caller a free car wash right now from Aggieland Express in South College Station, 979-693-1150.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. Community members are invited to help place flags at College Station cemeteries to honor veterans for Memorial Day. Sunday, May 29th at 2 p.m. at the Aggie Field of Honor, and on Monday, May 30th at 8:15 in the morning at the College Station Cemetery. A Brazos Valley Veterans Benefits Fair will be held on Saturday, June 11th from 9 a.m. to noon at the Bryan American Legion Hall. Veterans, surviving spouses, and family members are invited to learn more about federal and state benefits, local government, and community businesses. Our Savior's Lutheran Church is hosting a fine arts camp for incoming preschool through 5th graders. Mornings, June 13th through the 17th. Register your child at oursaviorsbcs.org. Help the Brazos Valley Food Bank bring hope to the table. Go online to bvfb.org. That's your community calendar. You can submit your nonprofit or charitable event by email to news@WTAW.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
This week on RVER, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm sorry, I can't operate on that vehicle.
But doctor, you took an oath.
That RV, it's my son's RV.
Oh, doctor, isn't there anything you can
I'm
do?
not a miracle worker, Sheila. I'm an RV surgeon, trained to save the lives of large, injured recreational vehicles, which is definitely a real profession.
When your RV really needs saving, Progressive has you covered. See if you could save with a leader in RV insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, covered subject to policy terms.
Hey parents, when it comes to your child's education, there's a lot to consider. No matter what you're searching for, search the Bryan Broadcasting half-price tuition program first. We've partnered with schools and learning centers throughout the area to get your students started with high-quality programs at half price. Right now, we're featuring half-price tuitions at Hopewell Classical Day School, Kinder Music, Happy Camper School, and more. Half-price tuitions are first come, first served, and availability is limited. Go to halfpricebrazos.com.
This is ESPN Radio.
Arthur Smith, head coach, Atlanta Falcons, here with us.
The fact that they pay me to do this job, I'm lucky as hell. I live in my dream, and I get to coach football in the NFL for a living.
Mario Andretti, everybody.
Formula One is at a good place right now. Something has exploded here. The fan base speaking loud and clear.
The head coach, Bill Self.
Winning it is fabulous, an unbelievable feeling. One thing I will say, the wins never feel as good as the losses feel bad.
Lane Johnson, Philadelphia Eagles.
The past few years, we've been starting off very slow, 2-5, 3-6. My goal is to start off hot and keep going.
Philadelphia 76ers guard Danny Green. I got to talk trash about James Harden now.
I appreciate y'all, man. Don't talk too much trash about my teammate, bro.
Mike Vrabel returns. Does Tom Brady still owe you an Escalade? I think he stole your MVP in the Super Bowl against the Eagles.
Yeah, it's okay. He made up for it with all those Ohio State, Michigan bets.
ESPN Radio, weeknights and weekends on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
All right, we're back here on TexAgs Radio. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Got Stephen McGee on the BCSI hotline. It is now time for That's Bullcrap, which is presented by Tom Line Plumbing. For service you can trust, consider Tom Line Plumbing, a great friend of Stephen McGee, longtime trusted plumber in and around the Brazos Valley. The website, tomlineplumbing.com. We go back to Stephen. What is Bullcrap, my friend?
Yeah, this week was tough. The unfortunate event in Uvalde is terrible. Just the loss of life, especially kids, right? And it's just a really hard one for I think this entire country to absorb, and the rationale and what makes people so evil and so sick in order to want to do this. But my Bullcrap though piggybacks off the event, and it really focuses on the people that try to use this for personal gain. Most specifically, Beto O'Rourke. Interrupting the press conference yesterday. I thought it was disgusting. It was embarrassing. This guy's a dweeb. He needs to get out of politics completely. He's, had people reserve a seat for him. It was a staged event in order to interrupt the governor. He's trying to obviously run for his spot. He's not going to get it. And, it really angered me. I don't want to get into politics right now. And I certainly have opinions. I'm sure OB does as well. But there's no place for this type of outpost in a press conference that is trying to relay information to the victims and the parents of the event. It was frustrating, to be honest with you. And I'm trying to be kind on radio and guard my words here, but it's I thought it was bullcrap that he did that, and it was a staged event by his people.
There's a time and a place, and that was neither. I'm going to take it back to sports. It's hard to go lighthearted after that, but I think it was Barrett Slee. I don't know who exactly.
He probably was.
And he earlier this week tweeted the Jimbo. We've seen this before. The Jimbo Fisher record after 4 seasons, and the Kevin Sumlin record. And the win total's the same. And he had a pitch looked like Jimbo looking into the mirror, and there was Kevin Sumlin looking back at him. I'm like, here's why that's bullcrap. I'm roughly 6'1", 210. Damani Richardson is 6'1" and 210. Do our bodies look the same?
No.
No, I look like a big pile of crap. He looks like a chiseled athlete. And I look like a bunch of pallet filled with fat. So, again, why not look deeper and say, well, how many ranked teams did those Summerlin teams play that were ranked at the end of the season as opposed to Jimbo? Look at the strength of schedule. While those teams were playing like South Carolina State in an non-conference game, so they didn't play some of those stuff, but they never had to play Clemson twice.
Right.
They never had to play Georgia. There's the best non-conference team, and this is not to be a knock on those guys because they beat Alabama and they won a lot of games, but the best non-conference team they ever played was Louisiana Tech.
Is that right? Oh, you're right. Yeah.
So because all the UCLA teams were losing teams,
right?
So that's bullcrap when they keep making that comparison. Again, the numbers may be the same. And then, of course, in 1 year, Jimbo only got to play 9 or 10 games.
Right.
So that's bullcrap. Again, comparing the schedules and comparing the records is like comparing my physique to Damani Richardson's because we have the same, height and weight.
Here's my bullcrap, and it's lighthearted again, and it's kind of a joke, but not really. But when athletes change their names to a different name. Ron Artest went to Meta World Peace. Yeah. I'm okay with Muhammad Ali doing his, all right? But now Ricky Williams has changed his name to Myron, Eric Myron. That's how he wants to be called. And look, you do you, man. Like, I know you're a different character, and, I mean, as great as you were on the field, but he's got reasons, apparently. Apparently, Eric's his real name anyway.
Yeah, it is.
And apparently, Williams was never his real last name. It was like his grandfather's last name, but it wasn't really his grandfather. He was just married to his grandmother kind of thing. So he's like, it doesn't matter. So he picked his wife's last name, which I guess is cool. But like is when I look at the Heisman, is it going to say Ricky Williams or is it Eric Meyer? Like, to me, you are who you are. You're always Prince is still Prince, not the symbol.
I think he should have followed Ocho Cinco's lead and go by Ricky Trace.
Ricky Trace, yes. I forgot about Ocho Cinco.
And that was, no, he was Tres Cuatro.
Huh?
Ricky was Tres Cuatro.
Tres Cuatro.
Yeah.
Or Tres Cuatro.
Yeah.
Like, I think Steven should just, from here on, be named as Steven McSiete.
El Siete.
I can go with it. I like it.
Thank you, Stephen. Talk to you soon, man.
All right, gentlemen. See you guys.
See ya.
Maybe he should put Siete as his first name. Siete McGee.
Siete McGee.
I kind of like that.
Change. What was your name? We gave you a name the other day. What was it? I can't remember.
You gave me a name? Was
remember,
I here?
You even went by it.
Rock.
The Rock. Rock Buchanan.
Hell yeah. Rock. I always wanted to be named Rock. Rock Buchanan.
Rock Buchanan, David Nuño. He's going to stick around for one more segment. We're giving Coach Schloss a little breather here because he's got to figure out when he's going to play. We'll do that. We'll catch up with Zane at 9:20 as TexAgs Radio.
We are the NFHS. That stands for the National Federation of State High School Associations. But really, what we stand for, together with the UIL, are the 825,000 high school sports and performing arts students in Texas. And so we stand. We stand for the runners, debate team members, and basketball players. We stand for their coaches, officials, and adjudicators. We stand for the drummers, football players, and actors. We stand for the golfers, singers, and swimmers. We stand as the national leader and advocate for these essential activities and all who participate in them and make them possible. Because it is our purpose to ensure that high school students get to play, perform, and compete together. To learn more about who we are and what we stand for, visit nfhs.org.
Paul Feinbaum is SEC country, and Aggieland is too. Listen in to Paul weekday afternoons 2 to 4 on the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. This is KZNE, College Station Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. A DPS chase in Bryan Tuesday morning reached speeds up to 120 miles per hour before the car crashed into a fire hydrant and a street sign. After the driver and passenger ran away, troopers found 7 stolen catalytic converters and 2 battery-operated saws. The DPS arrest report also stated multiple schools were shut down until the men, who were armed, were found about 6 hours later. 3 people who were shot last Friday in a residential neighborhood west of Midtown Park are out of the hospital. Bryan police is asking for public assistance in finding 2 suspects. Photos of 19-year-old Frederick Parnell and 17-year-old Donald Malvo Jr. are at WTAW.com. Investigators are still looking for a motive for the shooting on Sprucewood, but they do not believe it involved random victims. The day after the mass shooting in Uvalde, Brazos County Congressman Pete Sessions say we must pay attention to our 14 through 25-year-olds.
They are stressed. They are different. They have drug cultures around them that create, as we remember, what drugs do to people, marijuana.
Sessions expects they will be called back to Washington earlier than scheduled to consider gun control legislation. There could be a change in the outcome of the Brazos County Commission Precinct 4 primary runoff election. Elections Administrator Trudy Hancock says they are reviewing ballots to determine if any can be counted. Yesterday was the last day they could accept regular mail ballots that were postmarked by Election Day, and they can accept overseas and military ballots through next Tuesday.
We're going to meet at 5:30 on the 31st to finalize everything.
The Brazos County Democratic Party will canvass the vote a week from today. After the canvass, the person who finishes in second place has 2 days to decide whether to request a recount. Hancock said 300 ballots were either not returned or were canceled at the voting centers. For more news, go online to WTAW.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
Hi, it's Jenny from your local Big Deal store. If you've never visited our website, you're missing out because we've partnered with some of the best local businesses in town. Dozens of gift certificates, all discounted, ready for you to buy today. Here are just a few of the businesses you'll find.
Easy Phone Repairs, Next Gen Gaming Lounge, and Buff City Soap Aggieland. Shop and save now at AggielandBigDeals.com.
Hey parents, when it comes to your child's education, there's a lot to consider. No matter what you're searching for, search the Bryan Broadcasting half-price tuition program first. We've partnered with schools and learning centers throughout the area to get your students started with high-quality programs at half price. Right now, we're featuring half-price tuitions at Hopewell Classical Day School, Kinder Music, Happy Camper School, and more. Half-price tuitions are first come, first served, and availability is limited. Go to halfpricebrazos.com.
Good morning. I'm Chris Dusterhoff with your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click hilcosupply.com. Last night's SEC tournament showdown between Texas A&M and Florida has been postponed. The rainy weather's been wreaking havoc on things in Hoover, but Aggie first baseman Jack Moss says it doesn't bother him.
Honestly, I kind of think it's fun because that's when you start to get the games that are like at, 11, 12 o'clock at night, or I've personally even had one of the mornings. So, and I've heard that they've done that here before, and they'll push them back that far. So I think it's fun. I think anytime that there's stuff like that out of your control, it just makes it all the more entertaining. And the teams that win the games are usually the teams that handle that the best.
Jack and the guys are slated to match up with the Gators at some point today. Broadcast will be right here on The Zone when it happens. The women's tennis duo of J.C. Goldsmith and Tatiana Makarova have advanced to the NCAA quarterfinals following a straight set wins yesterday. The pair will be back in Elite Eight action today in Champaign, Illinois. The number 13 A&M men's track and field team advanced 9 athletes to the NCAA West preliminary quarterfinals, while Bryce Foster punched his ticket to the NCAA championships in the shot put. Foster registered a personal best toss to advance to Eugene next month, and Devon Achane highlighted a night on the track, winning his heat in the 100 and finishing second in the 200. With your Aggie Sports Minute, I'm Chris Dusterhoff.
Gotta be connected with The Zone. Follow us on Twitter or Instagram at The Zone 1150. Like us on Facebook at The Zone 1150. Programming alerts, prize updates, scores from games all across Brian Broadcasting, contest news, and more. Connect with us and always be in the know. Can't remember what team is playing on what station? When are they giving away what? And when is the coach on the show? Follow us on Twitter or Instagram at Zone 1150. And be sure to like us on Facebook at Zone 1150. And always be in the know.
OB, talk for a second because Coach Schloss is texting me.
Oh, okay. Well, we were talking about that my dimensions kind of match up to Damani Richardson, even though we don't look the same. And we were talking about it with David, and David's dimensions kind of look the same as Tyreek Chappelle, or they're very similar. Tyreek's coming in at, it says 5'11", 185. So David's about 5'11", about 182. I would think David is a lot closer to looking like Tyreek Chappelle than I am to looking like Damani Richardson, and that's kind of tragic on my end, but what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
I try to lose weight.
Well, I don't think I'm anywhere near as. I think it's the same kind of. Coach Schloss can talk to us for a second. So I'm going to have the guys in the back at the Zone call Coach Schlossnagle. But getting back to that point, I am definitely not in the same ballpark because I'm sure there's other 5'11", 182s, like maybe I don't know, Johnny Carson.
Yeah.
He was probably 5'10", 182. I'm more like Johnny Carson.
I'm not even in the same hemisphere as Damani Richardson. So at least you're in the, you may not be in the same ballpark, but you're in the same city.
Same region. Let's go to the News and Social Center before we get Schloss on the show. Kay, you got some stuff for us?
I do indeed. Dave in Edmond is joining in on the Bullcrap conversation. Says here in Edmond, the sports radio guy with the biggest ratings goes on radio, insults Eli Holstein because he flipped to Alabama, and says Jimbo looks like the biggest whiner and loser. This is what I have to deal with up here. They actually think Saban won this fight.
No, he didn't. He didn't win it, and unfortunately, they don't know the timeline. We'll get into those timelines here in a moment, but I want to go now to the BCSI hotline. OB, you can stick around, or you can join us with Coach Schlossnagle as we go straight to the BCSI hotline. Jim, I didn't know your schedule because of the maybe game, potential game, pushback game, so I'm so happy to hear your voice this morning. Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning. The schedule is just sit around and wait. They're expecting another big round of rain, I think, later this morning, early afternoon. And then I think once that's finished, it's probably good for the rest of the weekend. So we're just hanging out and waiting to get a phone call.
Coach, how important is winning there now? And tell me I'm crazy, but is there any advantage to actually – losing and coming home and start getting ready for the tournament? What is your thoughts on how this is all playing out and what's best for Texas A&M?
Yeah, I think. We need to play. Baseball is not a sport you can just shut down and expect to. Our choices would either be to come home and inter squad and have practice, or to, play here, as long as we can. I think the line is, at what point, to how much stress level do you put your team under, versus trying to win versus trying to versus the risk of not putting yourself in the best interest or the best possible situation to win next weekend. So I've been a part of winning these things and moving on. I've also been a part of, in 2015, went 2-0 in the Big 12 tournament and the World Series. We all know last year Mississippi State was 10-run ruled in their 2 games here and won the national championship. So we have to play. I mean, I definitely want to play at least one game, and prefer to do that today. And then we'll just kind of take it from there. But to answer your question, I'm definitely going to try to win the thing without jeopardizing next week.
Jim Bronny was reporting that there's been some whispers that it could become a one-game elimination tournament. Have you heard any clarity on that, or how things are trending in that direction or not?
I haven't heard anything this morning on it. I know it was discussed yesterday. I think every coach in the tournament was asked their opinion of it. Obviously, a team like us who feels pretty confident in at least being able to play next weekend, I'm fine with that. Whereas a team that needs to play as many games and win as many games obviously doesn't. So I think if we get games in today, then it'll probably remain a double elimination tournament. If we were to get all or most of the games not played today, then it would make sense to go to single elimination.
Hey, what do you expect from your pitchers, specifically Micah Dallas and then perhaps Nathan Detmer?
What do I expect from them?
Well, yeah, and for instance, we don't know. We've been hearing Nathan Detmer's getting better, but don't know. And I haven't seen.
I think.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Coach.
I think the most important thing for our team is two things. Number one, Detmer needs to be sharp and ready next weekend, right? And part of sharp is being healthy. Also, part of sharp is having pitched. So, definitely, been having conversations with the staff about and with Nathan and with our trainer. His foot is healed pretty well. There's also, you want to have it toughen up to where it can handle the stress of next weekend, and part of that is pitching. And then the other side of it for me is, in my opinion, for us we have to find out about Micah Dallas. We have to give him a chance to get out there and pitch. And I still believe in Micah. I still, he's shown us that he can get good teams out. And we've all had pitchers that are players that go through these lulls, and then when you need them the most, they shine the most. And so, if we play today, Micah's pitching for sure. If we don't play today and we get to tomorrow, then you have a decision to make, because I don't want to throw Detmer on any shorter rest than 7 days than he's used to. But I also would like to find out about Micah. So I don't know. Some of it will depend on if they tell us it's a single or double elimination tournament. But as of now, it really looks like we are going to get to play today, because I think it's going to be out of here at some point, and we're the next game to be played. So I think that question will answer itself tonight.
Coach, it seemed to me that last time, and you can tell me how wrong I am on this, but the last time Micah started, that he was better than his numbers indicated, because it seemed like he got a lot of soft hits that went against him, and just had some bad luck.
He did. I mean, he was a victim of his own doing. He had the first pitch of the game. He threw away a comebacker, and then he had a big chance to get out of it with a bases loaded comebacker. And then you throw in, the flares and different things. So I agree with you. I do believe it was somewhat of a step in the right direction, but that was a couple weeks ago. He hasn't pitched since. So we got him up one time or a couple times over the weekend. That was more just to get him work, so he was ready to go in the conference tournament. But you're right. I did think the last one was at least a step in the right direction.
Jim, I think this is probably on a case-by-case basis, but how does yesterday affect Micah? The mindset, you think you're going, then you keep getting pushed back. Not sure how much work he got before anything, and then having to be pushed back to today at some point, we hope.
I think he'll be fine. I mean, he's better. Number one, baseball players are used to this. I mean, we had a 6:15 wake-up call this morning. I was at breakfast at 6:45, and they were probably, breakfast was at 7, and at 6:45, 2/3 of our team was already dressed and in there. So, and Micah was one of the first guys in. So I think he's chomping at the bit. He wants the baseball. So I think that part of it I'm confident in, and then everything else, baseball players have to deal with this your whole life. If you don't like this, you should have been a basketball player. In basketball, you just sweep the gym floor and play. Baseball, you have to deal with things like this and move on.
Hey, there was a time, and we're going back, maybe a month or more, but when the relief pitching seemed like it was a concern. Seems like it's been pretty good lately. How do you feel about the way those guys will come on?
Yeah, really good. Menifee, Palish, Will Johnson specifically have been outstanding. Cortez is, he's slightly better than what he has been. He's shown signs of landing those off-speed pitches, and Hogan has got us some outs that we needed to get. So those are the guys that, primarily we lean on. It's just I would love to lean on him in the sixth inning on versus the fourth inning on. But, we've talked about the same things for 2 months now, and I think we just need to shake it off. And our identity is what it is. And hopefully, we'll have someone step up. Otherwise, we'll just keep trying to swing the bat and get the outs we need to get as the game goes along.
Jim, we hope you get the game in today at some point. We feel good about it looking at the weather reports. Best of luck to you. We'll talk to you when you get back.
All right. Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Jim Schlossnagle. That guy's the best. Like, he knows we have a hit, and I'm trying not to bother him. He's ready to go. He is so good.
I just, we appreciate that, but I admire him as a baseball coach and what he's been able to the expectations that he's been able to exceed, because I look at it and I don't see them as a particularly great pitching team. I don't see them as a particularly great defensive team. They've had all these guys that have come in and injuries here and there and all those things they've dealt with, and here they are probably going to be a host and a top 8 team.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
That is amazing. They need to get this game in, I think, to help their chances and hopefully get the victory, and then we'll take it from there. I did want to read this one text before we hit a break here, and Richard's going to come and join me here to talk a little baseball, but I'll let Kay do it. The 979 text on Eli Holstein.
Yes, it says, so what do you guys think about the Eli Holstein commit to Bama? Can you guys discuss it?
And I'll start it off, OB, you take it from there. Once he decided to decommit initially, I think A&M was already looking in a different direction. And, if he wants to go to Bama, he's a very good quarterback, but I don't think A&M is worried about it at this point. I think they feel very good about their quarterback room, and whoever they add to that will be fine.
Yeah, I concur with all that. I think I would be more concerned about that and frustrated and all those things if this had been next year. But the way I look at it is, and you always want to have good quarterbacks, of course, but Connor Wigman, I know Lucci thinks he's going to be special.
Yep.
I mean, that's your quarterback for the future, right? If not this year. So I think they will sign a quarterback, right? But every year, which was smart. But I think if you've got a guy who's just going to be a freshman that you think is going to be really somebody special, that you don't have to get the heralded recruit next year. And a lot of times the heralded recruits, I can give you a whole list of them, don't work out. Yeah. And sometimes that 3-star guy turns out to be really good. So I'll say this. I think Jimbo Fisher is going to bring in a good quarterback.
Well, and in today's transfer world, NIL world, you're not going to keep a couple 5-star quarterbacks, one on the bench for 2 or 3 years like you used to. You're not.
So, again, trust your coach, especially this one.
Yep. Thank you, OB.
You bet.
Appreciate your time. It is Cap Rock time. They are patient-centered care, and there's a different experience when you head into one of the Caprock facilities out there. 100% locally owned, 100% locally operated healthcare system here in the Brazos Valley that puts the patient first in every decision that they make, which means when you go in there, their sole purpose is to make you feel better. When you go in there with a loved one, they're trying to make that loved one feel better immediately. And when you go there, you're not going to have to sit in a crowded waiting room with a bunch of people coughing all over the place. They're going to take immediate care of you. That's what they do. That's their mission, is to make you feel better and take care of you immediately. They also maintain cash prices that rival all the competitors in the BCS area. So go check them out for yourself. You're going to love the prices that they give out there. 2 convenient state-of-the-art locations designed for patient healing and family friendliness. You've got the Caprock Hospital in Bryan and Caprock 24-hour emergency center in College Station. They both maintain a clean and sterile safe environment. It is Caprock Health.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. The Bush Library invites you to a summer film series featuring Shark Tale this Friday by the pond. Games and food start at 7. The movie begins at sunset. The Brazos Valley Museum of Natural History announces its exciting new in-house created exhibit, Fire and Earth, the Story of Ceramics, on display through May 28th. Visit brazosvalleymuseum.org for more information. Student Bonfire is looking for land to clear to build Bonfire this fall. The minimum acreage is 12 acres of heavily wooded land. The nonprofit organization also performs odd labor jobs to raise funds. Email info@studentbonfire.com for more information. Come out to Cheers to Craft Beer in downtown Bryan on Saturday, June 11th from 3 to 6 p.m. Proceeds from this tasting event benefit Voices for Children CASA. That's your community calendar. You can submit your nonprofit or charitable event by email to news@WTAW.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
You know us through the Aggie Ring and our work helping current and former students. You also know that we work to uphold our traditions and help bring Aggies together around the world. We are the Association of Former Students, and it's our mission to provide resources, support programs, and cultivate the experiences that you know and love. But have you ever stopped and wondered why? Why does the association support Texas A&M and Texas Aggies? Why are we always here, there, and everywhere for the Aggie Network? Why do we tirelessly work to ensure that the Aggie experience is both unforgettable and life-changing? Well, you may be surprised to learn that the answer to why is as unique as your own Aggie story. That's why we created IamTheWhy.com, a place for shared Aggie stories and unique perspectives. It's where you can hear the why, see the why, and discover why Aggies like you are the why. Visit IamTheWhy.com today.
VeraBank is open and we are excited to serve you in College Station. Hi, this is Erica Archer, Treasury Management Officer at VeraBank, and I specialize in helping businesses run their day-to-day operations more efficiently, saving you valuable time. Our team's job is to make yours easier. So give us a call or come by and see us off of Highway 6. At VeraBank, you have a team of genuine bankers on your side, and you can bank on it.
Visit verabank.com today. That's VERA bank.com. VeraBank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Would you like to win a Texas Summer Survival Kit thanks to Field to Family, farm fresh beef direct from their fields to your family? They offer unique cuts you can't even find in the grocery store. Would you like to win 4 tickets to Fiesta Texas Six Flags, the Brazos Valley Bombers, and Cinemark Theater? Also, a $50 gift card to Superior Auto Service and a $50 gift card to Field to Family. It's the Texas Summer Survival Kit. Register now, enter now at zone1150.com.
All right, we try to do this with Richard after the Schloss interview. A lot of times he joins me here. We didn't expect him to join us today because there was supposed to be a game at 9:30, and then it was pushed back. We didn't know when they would happen and if they were going to be warming up or whatnot, but here he was calling the show, Richard.
Yeah, and we still have no idea when they're going to play, when they're going to warm up, but, man, that was pretty we talked about it off air. That's pretty awesome.
He is.
And he texted you?
Yeah, he texted me. Like, hey, you guys calling? I was like, wow, I didn't want to bother you because I figured you were getting ready. That's my bad. I felt like I'm the one who let him down.
So you know this, but I don't know if the listener knows this, but when Buzz Williams comes on the radio show, it's always like on the dot.
Yep.
Like you don't have to double check with him. He's going to call you.
If he
he's
says
going to call us, and he's going to be on the show. it's not surprising that Jim Schlossnagle is kind of the same way.
Yeah.
If he has an appointment and he can make it,
He'll
and
make
because there's obviously a rain delay, he saw the need and not really the need, but the desire to maybe kill a few minutes because he's probably bored somewhere in a hotel.
So I'm looking at the Hoover weather. All right,
Okay.
that's why I was looking at my phone, not texting people. 100% chance of rain at 10 a.m. Oh, you don't say.
Doesn't it clear up like right after noon?
Yeah, it's
sometime?
gonna clear. It's a 60 at noon. It's 90% chance. At 1 o'clock, 60%, which means the earliest I guess A&M plays baseball would be what 2:30, 3.
I would guess 2 o'clock. It certainly doesn't sound good for the double elimination format to continue. That's for sure. But
Because they still have to get one game from yesterday in, right? Or two.
So right now, today begins day 3. They should have started day 3 of the SEC tournament at 9:30 this morning.
Right.
They should have played 8 games by then. They've played 5.
So they have 3 games to make up.
3 games to still make up before they can get back on schedule.
And that means 3 games starting at 4 or 3. We'll call it.
I don't see, unless they find a second facility, and we talked about it this morning as well. There's a downtown ballpark in Birmingham where the Barons play. UAB's there as well. There are facilities to possibly use. I don't know how hastily that can be made and done, but unless they add a second facility or shorten games to 7 innings, what have you, they're not going to be able to get all the games in.
Why am I intrigued by the Birmingham Barons?
That's where Michael Jordan played minor league ball.
And who was his manager?
Who was his manager?
I might be wrong here. I'm fairly 90% sure it was Terry Francona.
I think you're right. I think that is right. I know that I think Bo Jackson spent some time with the Barons as well.
I would love to go check that place out. That would be great.
But it's a different ballpark. You know that, right? When Jordan played for the Barons, they played at the Hoover Met.
Is that right?
That's the ballpark. Yeah,
That's where they played.
So the Hoover Met doesn't have a permanent tenant anymore. That's why the SEC tournament's always there. That's why the field's always in pristine condition. That's why it's always decked out in SEC stuff when you show up. The biggest weekend for the Hoover Met is when the SEC comes to town.
I saw Bronny put yesterday, I don't know if you read his report afterwards.
I'm keeping up with Weatherman Braun stuff.
Yeah, Weatherman Bronny doing a great job there in Hoover, but he put that they have looked into other cities, some not that far, and I was trying to figure out what is he getting at.
I have seen, the SEC, they rotate the basketball tournament now, right? It used to always be played in Nashville. It's played in Tampa this year. I think there's been discussion about rotating the SEC football championship game as well. Obviously, it's always been played in Atlanta. But if he's saying that there are facilities that they could rotate to, I don't think he's talking about this year, obviously. It would be in the future. And if he's saying one that's not too far from College Station, that makes me think they would play at Minute Maid, which would make sense with the roof. But the Astros are home this weekend.
Right.
So
I don't think he was talking about this
He's obviously not talking about this year, but I know there's been a lot of discussion on the boards about why not move it to one of the ballparks in Texas, one of the major league ballparks in Texas, because the Rangers play under a roof now. The Astros have always played under a roof.
How would that draw, though? Would it make sense there or make sense more at Skeeters? I don't know.
Obviously it would be, I don't know how, it depends on who's in it, right?
Yeah.
Because have you ever been to the Shriners Classic at Minute Maid?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it depends on who's there, right? Because if A&M's there, if TCU's there, if LSU's there, LSU's a huge draw in the city of Houston, and it's not too far away from the state of Louisiana. So it depends on who's there and for how long.
Especially with what is at stake, too.
Who's there and for how long, but as far as, what is that ballpark capacity? Is it 41,000?
40-something thousand.
Yeah, I don't think they would fill that for any given game.
And I forget what the Skeeters get. Skeeters.
It would make more sense to pack out a minor league ballpark.
Or do both.
Or
do both, because the Astros now own the Skeeters.
Yeah, and
partially own them.
They have for a long time, but now they're finally affiliates, right?
I don't think they have.
I
think
no
that
idea.
became in the last. No,
I
they
don't
became
know.
affiliate 2 years ago, but they actually.
I thought they were the affiliate this year for the first time. Or
They-
were they the Skeeter? Oh, because they just rebranded. That's what I'm thinking of.
Rebranded,
They're no
yeah.
longer the Skeeters.
They're
They're the Space Cowboys.
Space Cowboys. Okay.
Shout out to Jamie Murray.
This is the most Space Cowboys talk we've ever done on this show.
Yeah.
So, what kind of leash do you think Michael Dallas gets later on today?
I could see. So Jim Schlossnagle just said that if there's a chance to win a championship, he's going to go for it. He's said that the
All
entire
year.
time.
Yeah.
All year, right? If there's something to play for, if there's a trophy to be won, he's going to go for it. That being said, I don't know how to weigh the importance of winning the SEC tournament versus getting Micah Dallas right for the NCAA tournament. That I think having Dallas right for the NCAA tournament is probably a much bigger deal. So do you roll him out there and give him all the leash in the world to work through it on a mound in a game? I don't know. Obviously, we saw his last start against South Carolina, and as Olin mentioned, I didn't think he was that bad. Obviously, seeing eye singles and errors of his own doing
Mississippi State, he was not.
Was it Mississippi State?
No, I'm saying
it was South Carolina.
South Carolina
I don't
was
think
the
he
last
pitched
start,
against,
but the Mississippi
Yeah,
State.
that was out of the bullpen.
Right.
This is a start. This is completely different mentally, right?
Yeah.
So I think you roll him out there, and I mean, I'd like to see him go as long as possible, as long as it doesn't turn ugly, which is where I was going with the South Carolina start. I think he was close to working through it.
Yep.
But the cuts just kept coming, and
That's why he
eventually
needs
had to get him
success.
out. Yes.
And by the way, we won't know either way. He could pitch amazing today, and it doesn't mean that much later, but I think it will help. He could have an average outing. But I think I said it yesterday, and I'll say it again. They don't need him to be Nathan Detmer. They just need him to be good enough to give the offense a chance.
Well, they need Nathan Detmer to be Nathan Detmer. His last couple starts haven't been great, but yeah, you're right. You need a second starter. They don't have that right now.
Yeah.
The second starter right now is Wyatt Tucker, who's made 2 collegiate starts. He's a true freshman. Or I don't think he's a true freshman, but he's made 2 collegiate starts. This is his first year playing college baseball at this level.
So how does a one and done affect A&M, you think, because of the RPI being at 20, and with Florida it'll go down a little bit, right?
So we've talked about that. Like, we've talked about it being at 40 on Monday. They've now dropped 4 spots since then. The RPI is sitting at 24 based on what's happening around the country in Hoover and other places. Having it being one and done, I still think the Aggies need to win at least 1, maybe 2 games to get a top 8 seed. With it being one and done, I definitely don't think you're going to miss out on hosting a regional.
Yeah.
You would need, I don't even know what the scenarios would be, who would need to win and go on incredible runs to push A&M out of a top 16 spot, but I think that's pretty safe. I think
for
we're going
the
to
national seed, they need 2 wins, you think?
At least 1. I think, the RPI is sitting at 24. Playing Florida is going to help, especially if you beat them. Your RPI is going to go up. They've gone down in the RPI rankings just because they've been idle for so long. All other teams have been playing and winning. So I think they need at least a win to be a top 8 seed. But I could be wrong. I've been wrong the entire year.
Yep. All right, brother. Appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Of course.
All right. That is Richard Zane here on TexAgs Radio. When we come back, Aaron Torres from FSR and Aaron Torres Online next on the show.
Who cares if he's wearing a medium and tight pants? 3, 2, 1, go. It's TexAgs Radio with David Nuño on the Zone.
This week on RVER, sponsored by Progressive Insurance. I'm sorry, I can't operate on that vehicle.
But doctor, you took an oath.
That RV, it's my son's RV.
Oh, doctor, isn't there anything you can do?
I'm not a miracle worker, Sheila. I'm an RV surgeon, trained to save the lives of large, injured recreational vehicles, which is definitely a real profession.
When your RV really needs saving, Progressive has you covered.